Meow. And Hilda's here too, like always. You don't... I'm not using an emulator. Nope. Can't see that. Alright. So, last I remember, we talked about getting wet, and that was fun. I don't really remember what's going on down here. I don't even remember why we split off in the first place to look at these elevator doors, or like the doors. So, yeah. I'm watching both the YouTube one and the Twitch one. Thank you, you're giving us more money! But not actually. We don't have anybody monetizing on the Twitch side, so Twitch side is completely like null and void. So if a lot of people are watching on Twitch, nothing goes to us. But you know, we don't really care about that. We just want to do whatever we want, like give you guys some good entertainment. That's all we really care about here. It's just like I thought. This part hasn't flooded. Come on, just look around. There's no water here. June looked around nervously, then ha! Exhaled. You're right! It's not flooded at all. See? But there's a whole lot of water. Yeah, right on top of us. What's going to happen if the ceiling breaks? Junpei thought about that for a moment. Well, we'd probably get really wet up there. Oh my god. Huh? At any rate, we should probably go back as soon as we can, or once we're done looking around down here. Lotus and Sans might already be back. Okay, good idea. I feel like I'm gonna die in this ending or something. Okay. The first thing you noticed was a set of thick iron bars. They ran the length of the room, separating the left elevator from the right one. Well, we can't go over there, right? And then perhaps, in the corner of the room that housed the elevators, Junpei found an opening. He walked up to it and stuck his head around the corner. 6. Door at the end of the hallway. There's something written on it. I wonder what it says. Clearly not a 6. Junpei and June set off down the hallway and at a brisk clip somewhere between a run and a jog. Before they found themselves in front of the door. On it was written in the bright red paint 6. You know, if you turn that upside down, that's a 9. Is that the way out? Before long, they found themselves in the front door. It's the number door. Indeed, there was red bolted onto the wall. There was a red bolted onto the wall right next to the door. Do you think Twitch TV abuses power too much when it comes to non-PC streamers? I don't think so. I mean, I don't really notice a difference between non-PC streamers and people who are using like PS4 streaming. Junpei and June turned, head back to C deck. As it turns out, there was a burnt map of the ship's interior for E deck. So you guys found door 1. They'd met back up with Sans and Lotus, who has explained what they found. Apparently there was another numbered door on A deck, just like the one on E deck, beyond the door that the Earth key opened. According to Sans and Lotus, there was a 1 on the door. All told, they discovered 2 new doors, the 6 door and the 1 door. Hilda, you want to say hi to the stream? Or are you just going to walk by me? Are you just going to walk by me? Okay. It's interesting that the E deck wasn't flooded. Lotus was quiet for a moment, lost in thought. We don't really know if all of E deck is safe. We just checked the area around the elevator. Even so, it's still very interesting. You said 6 door was there, right? Yes. Then that means Zero planned this all out, even the sinking. That would have to mean some pretty serious remodeling of the ship's interior. Hilda, are you scratching your butt on my mic? What are you doing? Hey, are you after my water? Are you after my water? She's rubbing herself up against my mic. Hi, Andy. This is the first stream I've caught in a while. How are you doing today? I'm doing okay. I'm just trying to get my cat to stop tipping over my glass of water. Stop that. Meow? Okay, I just downed my water. Normally I just try to save it into the end, but yeah. No clue who these people are and why there's a 6 on the door. If you want to check out this game and what's going on, you could stop watching the stream and watch some of the past broadcasts of this game. There's only 2. But yeah, you're not missing much, I don't think. I mean, you're missing a lot, actually. I lied. This is done by some organization with access to a whole lot of cash. Yeah, that does make sense. And that thought made them all go quiet for a moment. June bit her lip while Lotus sighed softly to herself, and Sans cracked a stiff neck and stared off into a distance at nothing. I don't think it's a very good idea to stay here. They're being watched! Alright, Ace and his team might be back already. June, Junpei, and I should be able to open door 1. You guys leaving me behind? 865-1991-10-10-1. Just kidding. Alright, let's go. The moment they stepped inside, a tremendous voice echoed across the room. Hey! Where the hell did you guys go? It was 7. Ace was right behind him, and Clover was... Ace was right behind him, and Clover was behind Ace, although he seemed to be hanging back. It looked like there was something strange about them. 7 had the look of a man who'd seen a ghost. Ace was just as pale, and Clover looked as though she was only moments from passing out entirely. For a long moment, they simply stood there looking at one another. Junpei looked around nervously, waiting for someone else to speak. No one did. He looked at 7. What happened? The hell kind of question is that? 7 was trying very hard to be angry, but something had shaken him hard. His shoulders were trembling, his voice was strained. Snake is... 7 couldn't finish. He just looked away, his face twisted by Junpei wasn't sure what. Instead, Ace spoke. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and spoke. Snake is... dead. He died just as the 9th man did. What? How? Okay. I'm just like... How? Junpei felt his heart beat quicken, and he realized he was having trouble breathing. He could feel cold sweat beating on his forehead and neck. June, Sans, and Lotus looked the way he felt. All 3, frozen in place, their faces white. Is Snake the one all the way on the right on the stream background? No, the guy all the way on the right is dead. That's the 9th man who died earlier. We should make sure. Yeah, right, we should. They nodded to one another and headed to room number 3. Wait, not that way. They stopped short and turned to look at 7. He was pointing at the door with no number. I stuck a screwdriver in there to keep the door from closing all the way. It's not locked, so you can't go in that way. Or you can go in that way. Where is he? The shower room on the left side of the hallway. I put a broom in there too to keep the door open. We can get in without going through the numbered door, right? Yeah, that's right. Their new destination clear. Junpei and his companions headed for the door with no number. Once in the hallway, it was easy to spot the metal door on the left wall. It hadn't been open when they'd been through before, but now, it's just as 7 had said, there was a broom stuck between the door and the frame, keeping it open. They looked at it for a moment and stepped inside. It smells horrible. Lotus wrinkled her nose and covered her mouth in disgust. Even Sans pinched his nose shut. Oh god, he's dead. Yeah, look, this is pretty awful. I feel like I'm gonna puke. was just as bad as they said, perhaps worse. A hideous smell filled the air, so thick they could almost taste it. It was sour, smelled of fish, feces, and burnt meat. It worked its way through Junpei's nose, down his throat, to pound against the entrance to his stomach. He put his hands over his mouth and struggled to keep what little was in his stomach where it belonged. LR. Well, no way. No. How did... Somebody wrote that there, though. They didn't have to wonder where the body was. There was blood everywhere. A few arms of the splatter reaching towards them as they walked through the door. All one had to do was follow the many radial arms to their source. The body itself was hidden behind a divider. Junior should stay here. There's no way he died from the bomb that was inside him. Unless the blood just happened to splatter into an LR. It felt like an eternity for him to get there. Lotus and Sans followed, timid and nervous as a pair of children. Eventually, they reached the divider. They looked at one another and nodded slowly. Junpei put his hands on the divider and peered around the corner. Oh, God. For a moment, he forgot to breathe. He felt his heart collapse in his chest like an empty cigarette carton, and time froze. He knew in that instance before he could take an... He knew in that instance that he would take that image before him to the grave. Oh, gross. What was left of the body sat in a sea of blood. Chunks of flesh torn from the body sat in the blood like tiny islands in the great Red Sea. Oh, God. A vast ragged hole had been torn in the torso. What remained of the intestines spilled out like fresh spaghetti. Smaller chunks of meat splattered against the wall and became stuck there as they dried. Globules of yellowish fat had left trails like tiny slugs as gravity pulled them down the wall, even as they dried to it. What fat on his body? It's just like Ace said. Sans voice was strained. Junpei suspected he was holding down some vomit of his own. It's just like the ninth man. The detonator in his bracelet set off the bomb in his gut. It looked as though the explosion had been quite powerful. His legs were both bent in an odd, unnatural way, and his left arm had split open, exposing the painfully white bone of his ulna. His bracelet lay next to him. It seemed to have hit the wall hard enough to have shattered the display, which lay on the ground in pieces. Who touched my spaghetti? Thanks, chat. Half of his head had simply collapsed. The blood coating it almost made it look like raw pizza dough covered in tomato sauce. Tomato sauce, sir. His clothes too were covered in blood. The burgundy tie, the white shirt, the yellow jacket, yellow piping, and the gray slacks. They were all familiar to Junpei. No mistake about that. It's Snake. Lotus's voice was unnaturally deep, strained. Junpei heard it catch in her throat. So, the squeal of the tortured metal made Junpei's teeth curl. It sounded like a noise, the noise a ghost would make. No matter how many times he heard it, he'd never got used to it. Every time it put him on edge. It didn't help that there was a girl nearby. Really? That was like that's like the thing you're worried about? That there was a girl nearby who looked far more like a ghost than a living human would? I mean, oh, I thought he was talking about June, not Clover. He's like, oh my god, there's a girl here. I mean, he's that type of guy. Like, all the dialogue options are just like that. Her eyes blank, stared across the room. Nothing. Her breathing was slow and mechanical. Aside from the rise and fall of her chest, she didn't move. Junpei felt as if even a nudge might cause her to shatter into 1,000 pieces. Snake was probably murdered. Chances are he was killed the same way the ninth man was. Hey, Sans, June, and Lotus. Seven looked at one of them in turn and continued. It's pretty straightforward. Not that hard to figure out how they did it. At first, the killers got Snake to authenticate the red on the door 3, then shoved him into it alone, and waited 9 seconds for the door to shut. Once that door shut, it was over for Snake, but he didn't give up. He probably knew it wouldn't do him any good, but he probably ran into the shower room, looking for the dead. It was a small chance, but it wasn't like he had anything to lose. Unfortunately, it didn't work. The detonator only activated if everybody who authenticated when they went and used the dead. And then 81 seconds after he shoved it in, that happened. Oh, I see. That's what you meant by the killers, huh? You need at least 3 people to open one of the numbered doors, including Snake. It wouldn't open for Snake and a single killer. Oh my god. Huh. Why? Why would they do that? Let's say you're right. When do you think Snake was killed? When we all split up to look for the parts and for the reds, I think. Right after that, when he noticed he was gone. That means none of us had alibis. We were off searching rooms we'd been assigned, looking for those parts. That means anybody could be a killer. Any 2 people can be a killer. How can you say one of us is a killer so casually? Not just one of us. If I'm right, then at least 2 of us are murderers. Hold on. I got this idea. So, if it was the number 3, and his number was 2, you could narrow it down just by that. Hold on, I'm gonna do some math here, okay? Can I access my... Oh, Y. It's Y, X, Y? Y. Y. Okay. Okay, so let's say his number is 2, because he's Snake. 2's the number, right? To get through the 3, we need the root number to equal 1 originally, right? So it'd be 5, 6, 4, 7, 3, 8. So it wasn't me or June, like considering I'm not the perpetrator. So, and assuming there's only 2 people. So if you do 4 and 7, you know, oops, shit, clear. You go 4 and shit, plus 7, plus 2. Oh shit, no, I'm doing bad math, yeah. 2, 3. It has to be 3, right? 2 and 4, clear. Hold on, I'm trying to think here. 4 plus 7. So it's 11 plus the 2 is 3. Yeah, so it has to be equal 10, right? Yeah, 10. Sorry, I'm bad math. So 4, was it 4 and 6? So 4 and 6 or 3 and 7. There's only 2 options there. But like, say if there's like, say if there's more than 1 killer. And it's like, it's 3 and what equals 12? There's 3 and 9, but like, yeah. So I'm just like thinking like it could be like Clover and June, or oh no, Sans was with us. No, he wasn't. So it's like, I want to say. Because honestly, I don't trust those 2 in general right now, so I could easily be like, yo, let's kill Snake. But like, also, like, she's his sister, so I'm like, fuck, I don't know. I'm just like going off here on a tangent. The game was set up by 0, wasn't it? This game has a winner and a loser. Whoever makes it through door number 9 is a winner, and those who don't are the losers. 0 is trying to make us fight one against another for that victory. Okay, so if we do this math correctly now, too, what number combination doesn't equal 9 at the end with at least 5 people? Oh. If there's anyone we should doubt, it should be Zero, the mastermind this game and kidnapped all of us. Doesn't seem reasonable that he would have killed Snake as well. Junpei hadn't really considered that. If Zero had killed Snake, then Zero was on the ship with them. Zero was still on the ship with them. Oh, shit. I would say yes. Of course he was. That was obvious. Zero was somewhere on the ship, but Junpei had no idea where. He mumbled to himself, lost in thought. Where could Zero be hiding? Suddenly, everyone went very quiet. The silence was cold and clammy, and Junpei could feel it crawling across his back and around his throat. Again, he heard the ghosting moaning noise. Moments later, a person who looked more ghost than human appeared. It was Clover. She looked at the floor as she spoke, and her voice was a cold monotone. I think Zero is one of us. I mean, that would make sense. It'd make a fun game if someone was the killer with you. Said, No, I'm gonna be the optimistic person here and say that's crazy. Isn't the ship going to sink in a few hours? If Zero's here with us, he'd be putting himself in danger. Why the hell would we do something like that? There's no motive. Clover looked up at Junpei and her face fell. You don't believe me. Her eyes were so pitiful. The moment Junpei met them, he felt his heart tighten. He didn't think what he said was wrong, but perhaps the way he said it had been too insensitive. Clover had just lost her brother. His death would have been bad enough, but she'd also seen the blasted wreck of his body. Junpei barely knew him, and the sight had been enough to make him sick. What Clover felt, he couldn't begin to imagine. In the mental state she must have been in, it was understandable that she would look around those her with suspicion. She felt everyone was against her. The least Junpei could have done was try to understand what she was feeling. He felt ashamed of what he said. Perhaps, he thought, I should apologize. Before that apology could begin, Clover, I understand what you're feeling. You don't feel like you can trust any of us. Ace had beaten Junpei to the punch. As if he spoke to Clover, his face was calm and friendly. But you have to understand, the more we distrust one another, the further we fall into our true foe's trap. Zero was the one who did those horrible things to your brother. Do you want to let yourself be manipulated by someone who would do such horrible thing? Clover didn't answer. She didn't even look at Ace. The whole time her eyes were on Junpei. You could feel Clover's eyes boring into him. They were the color of a deep winter lake. Junpei saw no suspicion in them, only sadness. In that horrible silence. The lights went out! Oh no. The bell. It was the clock at the central staircase. 3 in the morning. That means we have 3 hours left. We need to move now. 7, Clover. I know how you feel, but you do understand that right now it's important that we trust one another, don't you? 7 and Clover remained silent, their eyes looking at something elsewhere, very far away. We must go. We have very little time left. Ace's words put their feet to moving. They all knew where they were going. The next destination was Mercury. Should I tell Andy what the digital root of their numbers are, or no? Of which numbers? Of everyone's numbers? Like, do they all like survive at the end? Hold on. To do 1, yeah. Ace. Snake is dead. 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 is still alive. And 8. Nine. You just spoiled me! I don't even know what that means. I mean, maybe everyone can get out, but like there's more than 5 of them, so I don't really know. Oh, all of those numbers, including those who died. Is it 9? 1, 2, 3. Oops. Shit. Plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5, plus 6, plus 7, plus 6. Equals 21. Plus 7, plus 8, plus 9. It's 9! So they all could have gotten out. Maybe. I don't know. Junpei and June had been chosen as the investigators. The reasoning being that they had been to Eve Deck and no one else had. As before, Junpei sent the elevator ahead to make sure the floor they were heading to wasn't flooded, just as before the elevator returned dry as when it left. Once it had been checked for water, Junpei and June stepped into the elevator. There were only 2 floor buttons they could push, C and bottom. The rest were destroyed or did nothing when pushed. The door closed. Slowly they began to move downward. Sometime later, Junpei and June stepped off the elevator onto the bottom deck. They stepped off and saw that the hallway to the right had ended somewhere between 20 and 25 feet from them. The hallway in front of them was a dead end, but not a regular dead end. 2. This is the 8th one we found. It's 4 and 5. So we got 4, 5, 6, 3, 7, 8, and then we got 6. And then we're missing a 1 and 9. Why do you like to watch me play video games when I'm playing 999, but you leave me alone whenever I play video games by myself? You just lonely? Oh, did I miss one? Oh, I did miss one. Yeah. Do you think the next door we find? I think so. The next one's going to be door 9. Despite himself, Junpei felt excited. There was something about that excitement that frightened him as well. He did his best to put it from his mind and headed back to C deck with June. Alright, let's open this up. The pieces of paper they folded up lay on the ground next to Junpei's legs. There were 7 of them, all told. They were written on paper pulled from Junpei's notebook. Each one bore a code name and a door. Why they had to decide to vote that way? They decided it wasn't fair to simply ask everyone at once. That would allow people to force others to go through certain doors. Well, that wasn't the only reason. Junpei proposed the voting system, and he had a plan. It wasn't a plan that he wanted anyone catching wind of, however, so he did his best to act calm as he began to open and read the pieces of paper. The first one read, Ace requests door 1. Yes, I do. Would you like me to explain why? No, we don't have the time for that, sorry. Let's keep going. You open the second one. Next is Sans. He wants door 6. Yeah, that's what I wrote. He continued with 3rd, 4th, 5th pieces of paper. Clover wants 1, Lotus wants 2, and 7 also wants 2. Yeah? Well, wait a minute. There's no way I'm going anywhere with the elephant man. No, there's no point in voting if we let people change their choices because of the stuff like that. Give it up, Lotus. It's not like I want to hang out with some exhibitionist grandma. I'm not an exhibitionist. I'm wearing clothes. Like hell you are. Barely. Last I checked, that's not a crime. Maybe, what about some common decency? Nobody wants to have to look at a chick who's like a half-naked raisin. Lotus's hair flared out like a mane of an angry lion. Are you an angry lion? Yeah, are you an angry lion? Meow. 'Meow. 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 Give my cat some kisses. Junpei, read the rest. Alright. Tore his eyes away and looked down at the 6th piece of paper. He opened it. June wants door 6. Yeah, I don't really have a reason, I just felt like it. All of the papers save Junpei's had been read. He did some quick calculations in his head. People who requested door 1, Ace and Clover. This was the door on A deck near the central staircase. People who requested door 2, 7 and Lotus. This was the door on the bottom deck and could be reached by taking the elevator. People who requested door 6, Sans and June. On E deck and could be reached by taking the elevator near the central staircase down. Took him less than a second to run the numbers. He opened the 7th piece of paper and spoke. Okay, the last one is mine. I want to go through... Oh shit. Fuck. I wasn't paying attention. Wait, can I? No! No, I didn't want that! Shit, I guess I'm going with 7 and Lotus. Again. Oh, fuck. Oh, oh god, I'm upset now. Hold on, I just wanted to do the numbers here. 7 and Lotus. 7 and 8. 2 is my favorite choice, though. Alright, I'll take 2. I'm still upset, though. Sans was unconvinced. Hey, wait a minute there. You cheating? I'm asking if you changed your number after you heard the doors, what we wanted. How could I do that? I wrote it down on the paper earlier. Let me see that. He shrugged and handed it to him, examined it furiously. The others peered at it as well. Although he'd never know it now, Sans had just been justified of his suspicions. Junpei had switched the papers. Put 3 pieces of paper, 1, 2, and 6, but put the paper on the door 6 into the pot. He put a small mark on it so he knew which one is his. He kept the 1 paper hidden in his left hand and 2 hidden in his right, just to make sure he didn't read his paper until the end. The rest was easy. If he wanted to go through door 1, he'd use his left hand and his right hand. He'd use his left hand and his right hand if he wanted door 2, and of course he wanted to do door 6. That would be simple. All he would need to do was switch nothing and say 6 had been what he'd wanted all along. Well, what does it say? You got lucky. Sans snorted and tossed the paper aside, frustrated. So we know who's going through door 2. It's me, Lotus, and Junpei. The problem is the other 2 teams. June and I want door 6. Clover and I chose door 1. It's not good. We can't open either of those doors with 2 people. Everyone was silent. Then suddenly Clover spoke, her face blank and cold. Why don't San and June just go through door 1 with Ace? They looked at one another. Finally Ace spoke. Then what will you do? I'll be waiting at the stairs. You guys are coming back here, right? That's what 7 was saying, wasn't it? Till we find that 9 door, 0 ain't gonna split us up. We might get separated for a little while, but we'll see each other again. Otherwise, we can't open door 9. That's how the nonary game works. Sorry, but I just want to be myself for a while. You understand, right? There's no emotion on her face, but it was drawn and pale, and her eyes were red. No one had the heart to contradict her. The room grew quiet. The room grew very quiet. Silence drifted over everything like a blanket of fresh snow. It was Sans who finally spoke. Alright, I'm going through the door number 1. That alright with you, June? June said nothing, simply nodded. And just like that, their paths were set. It meant that Junpei would be away from June a little bit, but it had been his choice. He would have to make peace with it. 7 said they'd all see each other again, and Junpei believed him. Alas. It says Ace. Ace, Santa, and June headed towards the central staircase and door number 1. Clover followed them. After seeing them off, Junpei, Seven, and Lotus stepped onto the elevator behind them and descended it to the bottom deck. Blah. 2. They stepped off the elevator and headed for door 2. One by one, they put their palms onto the recognition device, and the 3 asterisks blinked to life on its screen. I don't know if that like visual glitch is like the emulator doing it or if it's supposed to look like that, but either way, it's very like fitting. Fortunately, it took them only moments to find the dead. It had been placed just inside the room, right next to the numbered door. They gathered around it and quickly scanned each of their bracelets. Beep. It's the emulator. It fits, though. I like it. It stopped. Junpei could feel his heart pounding against the inside of his ribs. Seven and Lotus were breathing hard and fast. It was the 3rd time they'd been through the process, but they had yet to grow accustomed to it. Not that Junpei wanted to. He planned to finish the game before he got a chance to let imminent death become commonplace. Junpei looked around again. In a short hallway, 5 doors along the walls. There were 3 doors along the left wall, and a single one on the right. At the end of the hallway was a 5th door covered by a thick metal plate. Junpei didn't think he'd be able to open it. After taking a long look around the room, Seven spoke. Alright, let's get started. I think we'll probably I think we'd probably split up. You two okay with that? Yeah, no problem. Sure thing. And then we had to find the way out. Lotus looked at the doors for a moment and then headed to the one in the center. And Junpei was all alone. I guess I better get started too. Emergence. Here we go. Apparently this is the last puzzle. Okay, so let's go here. Oh, this is creepy. Let's go back here for a second. Hold on. I'm gonna see. She went through the middle door, right? Where the fuck are they? I want to talk to them. Let's check. No, shit. I don't have any items. Okay. So, yeah, let's just look around this one first. Toilet paper tube. Seriously, Dad, I'm gonna need this for anything. And did I take it? No, I didn't take it. God, this music is so unsettling right now. What the hell? It's not opening. There's something up with this drawer. I don't trust it. Fuck, let me do that again. I need a screwdriver. It's probably going to be a pain, but I think we need to figure out a way to get those screws off. Yeah. Alright, let's check the sink here. What the fuck? The hell is this supposed to be? Like a drawing of a whirlpool or something? If I had to guess, I'd say it's trying to look like water. Oh, wait, whoa, there's something in the drain. A little tile stuck in the drain. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to pull it out of there. No water. Okay. Check the bed. Dirty blanket. Dirty bed. Can I check under the bed? Nope. Nothing on the walls either. You just click around, see if you hit something. Wavy blue lines. Drawing of a scarf? No, maybe not. It's like a stream. Okay. The sinks, they're on the opposite side of the wall, right? No, it's not just the sinks. Everything's opposite, like a mirror image. So, that's normal if you're using the same water pipes, right? No knob. Is this a bald knob? The drain is kind of a weird shape for a drain. Do you think they made it that shape for a reason or just for fun? Oh, wait, wait, wait. Maybe... Can I... No. Let's check the bathroom area. Moon? It's pretty filthy, but it's a precious hint. Let's remember it, alright? Okay. Just hanging from the wall. Well, if we're pulling the string, then it must be a toilet that flushes. Right. How the hell can you touch that? It's horrible. Well, it's not like I really got a choice, do I? It's not like I want to. Let's check the bed now. A towel? The bed looks cold. Pretty sure it freezes to death in the winter. No kidding! If I tried to sleep here, my skin would dry out in no time. Anything under the bed? I can check the bed itself. Alright. Hey, you! There's a knob. The knob! The handle on the drawer doesn't really fit, you know? It just looks like messy. Why don't you take it out? Yes, take it out. Okay, there's a mirror on the other side of the drawer. Interesting. Odd shape, and it looks like it's attached to some handle with a screw after the faucet. Wait. 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 No, didn't think so. There's no way you could hide a puzzle in something that small. Looks like there's something in there. Shit. Okay. I don't think. Because like this thing, it's got the, I can't zoom in on it, but it's a faucet. I don't know why it looks like this though. Oops. Right. Let's leave. And go inside the dark room. Blanket, not really a great one, but still. Well, it's barely enough to see. I can feel like I'm gonna see a ghost in here or something. Don't say that! Ah, God damn it, no matter how hard I pull on this damn thing, it won't budge. Guess I won't be opening this anytime soon. It doesn't look like it's got a keyhole. It doesn't be stopping it. How the hell am I supposed to open it? The door in the back, I wonder where it goes. I thought of that and I tried a couple things, but yeah, same results. I guess 7 wasn't able to do anything as well. Emergence. Maybe it means to emerge out of here. Like emergency? How do I... There we go. So... Okay. Hold on, I forgot to check the toilet in here. Sun. Sun symbol, but it doesn't look like the ones on the doors. Spring on the towel has to be indicating picture on the mirror, and the mirror is indicating the sink, but the picture looks like a spring with water and the sink's all dried out. I remember having nightmares trying to solve the puzzles late at night. Yeah, I'm so uncomfortable from that one room. Chair. Chair's pretty old. If 7 sat on it, it'd probably break. Let me do this thing. Oops. Looks like the part of the design on the towel. Do you think that means anything? On the towel, it looks like water flowing from the river into the spring. Do you think that means we need to make one water flow from here? I don't want to touch anything unless I have to. Lotus is not having this. Wow, Lotus. Well, let's check the thing again. So like this is that. Wait, hold on. So fuck, I have to go through here. The mirror seems to be really high. In fact, it's so high that it's kind of hard to see a reflection in it. The sink, but there's no light shining on it. It's hard to be sure because it's so dark in here. I don't think there's anything going on in the sink. The faucet is too hard to turn. What's the deal with the light here? It's just one beam of light. The rest of the place is too dark. I can't see anything. There's no way we can explore the rest of this room. Why not? Do I need a light? Oh, wait. The ceiling. I can check out the ceiling. Wait. Did he just, like, I've seen a lot of ceilings in my time. I'd say this one rates about a 3. 3.5. So I can't do anything at the door. I have to do something here. Wait, hold on. What if I just, like... Okay, I'm a little stuck here. I need to get the screws out too. Fuck, I don't even have anything to get through the screws. Towel. The towel here at the river in a spring drawing. The spring looks like it's the thing on the mirror. What could it mean? Wait. Oh! Oh! Shit, I know what to do now. Oh yeah, we could probably use this mirror to reflect the light. Now I just gotta figure out where to reflect the light. Maybe I could go somewhere that's a little easier to shine light on. So if I shine this light on the mirror in the back, I get it. If I shine the mirror, a symbol appears. The one on the left is a sun, the one on the right is a moon. Okay. And then if I shine it on this one, I get 4 and 7. On the left. And this one is okay. No, I don't want to be here. I want to be elsewhere. Vump, 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 vump. That sound effect is pretty good. Okay, so what do I do with that information now? Whoop, whoop. It's the moon. Just like the sun symbol we saw in that dark room. There's some kind of number hint on there too. Maybe the number was how many times we took a piss. No, it's got to be how many times we flushed. 4. 4 and 7. Right. Fell off. Looks like this handle doesn't really fit the string. Maybe it wasn't meant to be attached to it. Side of it's threaded, like you're supposed to screw something in there. Huh. It's time to take a piss. Thank you, guys. It's thinner than the rest. In fact, it doesn't really look like it's part of the rest of the thing. It feels loose. Give it a couple turns, and here we go. It's a screwdriver. Yep. So then we combine that with the shaft. Yay! Okay. Now we have a screwdriver. That's good. Now we can get into shit. That was the thing. Okay. Now we use it on the screws. Now we can open the drawer. Nothing is in here. Well, maybe the drawer is what we need. Okay, it's a mirror. Nope, not a mirror. Wait, what's this? Bump on the back. I wonder what it's for. Maybe there's a hole somewhere, and those bumps line up with a trigger a hidden switch or something. Okay, so yeah, it's got some like grooves on it. Looks like some sort of shit. I don't know what that... Does this have a thing on the back? No. What is it? Where have we seen anything like that? Wait, maybe I can... No, can I not do that? Combine this, combine that. There we go. Okay. So now we have the knob. We can knob it up. The handle I got off that drawer fits into the faucet perfectly. Now we can turn the water on. What the hell are you doing? I'm taking a piss. Okay. But why aren't you jumping at me? Is this what you're supposed to be doing? This faucet didn't have a knob when we found it, right? What do you mean? Just watch. Anytime now. And it starts filling up. The water's filling up. It doesn't... That just mean the pipes are clogged? Whoops, let me turn it off for now. So did anything change? The water stopped flowing. Thanks, Mr. Obvious. Okay, so now that that's doing that, we can do this, go into the other room, and turn the faucet. Oh, or grab this. What the hell is this? Junpei put the wet towel into his pocket. He was about to turn away when there was a noise behind him. Oh no, I'm gonna die! He spun around to see Seven kneeling on the floor. His face was rigid and pale. Droplets of sweat covered his forehead. What's going on? He was concerned. He'd never seen Seven like this before. Slowly, the other man lifted himself to his feet on his shaky legs. I'm fine. I just got a little dizzy, that's all. His face was pale and his breathing was heavy. His sweat pouring off his face and staining his shirt. He was many things, but fine was not one of them. Are you sure? You don't look so good. Oh god, Seven didn't answer. Half of his face was twisted as if distorted by extreme pain. His eyes were glazed. Finally, he spoke. What am I doing here? His words made no sense. What are you talking about? We opened the number 2 door and we walked in here. Don't tell me you forgot. No, that's not what I mean. He shook his head several times as if trying to clear something from it. It ain't much, but I think some of my memories came back. I think I've been here before. Are you Zero? I said I've been in this room before. You were here? When? Why? Aoi, Light, Nona. Suddenly, Seven was mumbling to himself. They were words Junpei didn't understand. Seven's hoarse voice trailed off, and Junpei couldn't make out what he said. What the hell was that? Seven's brow furrowed furiously, and he ground his teeth back and forth. It's right there. I feel like I'm this close to remembering everything, but I just can't. Seven stopped, frustrated. He pulled his hat off and ran a hand through his hair. Suddenly, he looked up, his eyes wide. That's right, an experiment. There was some kind of experiment going on the ship. They were trying to control people, or something like that. He simply stared at Seven and continued. Aoi, Light, and Nona. There are their names. Well, some of them. The kids that were there in the experiment, I mean. There were 4 or 5 more, but I don't remember all their names. Yeah, that's right. Well, that's why I'm here. Seven began to mumble himself. He looked confused. So far as Junpei could tell, the man was simply rambling and there were odd twitches in his movement. Experiment. Cradle Pharmaceutical. Those kidnapped kids. Was I working on that case? Seven continued to mumble to himself about things that meant nothing to Junpei. He didn't have an answer for him, of course. He couldn't understand what was happening to Seven. All he could do was wait. After a few minutes, Seven finally stopped. He crouched down and looked under the bed. His face registered a mild surprise, and he began to mumble to himself again. The hole's gone? No, maybe it was a different room. There's got to be a ton of rooms in this boat that look like this one. At last, Junpei could contain himself no longer. What exactly do you remember? Well, maybe you could stop talking like a crazy person and tell me what's going on here. Seven stood up slowly. It's not like I remember everything. I've only got bits and pieces and they're scattered. Don't make much sense. I don't care. Tell me the bits and pieces then. Junpei could feel it. Whatever Seven had remembered, it was important. Very important. Seven drew a large muscled hand down across his face, and he wiped the sweat off his brow as he spoke. From what I can remember, I think I was a cop. A cop? Yeah, I was looking for that group of kids that got kidnapped 9 years ago. You remember that, right? It was all over the news. Yeah, I was still in school. I don't remember all the details, but I do remember some of it. I think it was a bunch of kids right around my age. Like Danganronpa? 16 boys and girls disappeared. Nobody knew why. It was all over the TV and newspapers every day. So you're saying you were investigating it? Yeah, that's what it looks like, and I guess I found something. There was this medical company called Cradle Pharmaceutical that had something to do with those kids. After I figured that out, I managed to get some information out of somebody who worked for them. They told me a ship would be leaving that night with all the kids on it. They were going to be taken to some kind of big passenger ship somewhere out in the ocean. And so Seven headed to the wharf. He kept to the shadows, and before long found the suspicious ship he'd been looking for. There were a number of human shapes moving near the ship. They were men in black suits, many of them carrying large bags onto the ship. Those bags, there was something about the way they moved as they were carried. There could be no mistake. There were human beings in those bags. He had moved before he realized he was going to. Out of the shadows he came, his gun already in hand. He heard the words, "Don't move," but they weren't his. He felt the metal touch the back of his head. "Drop your gun," came a cold voice from behind him. With the words, he felt the cold metal thing press him against the skull. Slowly, Seven crouched down and laid his gun to the ground. Suddenly, he felt a sharp pain in the back of his neck, a needle. It was some sort of drug? As he was thinking about that, Seven felt his face hit the cold concrete beneath him. He could feel the chill of of it seeping into him. Damn it. Shit, my head hurts. Seven woke up to find himself lying hard on the floor. He twisted his neck to peer around the room. Where am I? There was a small, shabby bed and a dirty sink. A toilet with no stall or privacy of any sort. As a cop, it was a place Seven had seen all too often. I'm in a cell, huh? Opposite the toilet was a door set onto the wall. He struggled to his feet and hobbled towards it. He gave the door a good shove, then another. He tried pulling it. It didn't open. Well, that was about what he expected. It wasn't likely that someone would put him in a cell only to leave it unlocked. He threw himself against the door a few times, but to no avail. I knew it. Seven grumbled to himself as he moved back towards the bed. He sat down. He sat there for a very long time. Just how long, he wasn't sure. At last he began to nod off. Had nearly fallen asleep when he was roused by a distant voice. There's... over... it's 9! The voice was far away, very far away. Seven couldn't understand what it was saying. Nonetheless, it was a voice, and a high one, most likely a child. His eyes shot open. Zero... K... As he listened, he could pick out several different distinct voices. There were at least 5 or 6, possibly more. Where were the voices coming from? He looked around the room frantically. Perhaps the door? No, that wasn't it. What? Go... oh... It was coming from the left? Or was it coming from under the bed? He grabbed the bed and flipped it up with ease. There it was. There was a hole for ventilation in the wall where the bed had been, covered with a metal grate. He lay down on his stomach, peered through the gate. He couldn't see anything. It was too dark. Now that he found it, however, there was no doubt. This was the source of the voices. For a moment he was confused. Why were there children nearby? Then he remembered what the man from the Cradle Pharmaceutical had told him. How a ship would take the kidnapped children from the wharf to a waiting passenger liner out in the ocean. Was Seven on that passenger liner? Didn't matter. What mattered was that he find a way to the children. Seven looked at the metal grate. He could fit through the. Could he fit through that hole? He stuck his fingers through the gate and grabbed a hold of it. Yeah, how'd you like that, you son of a bitch? Ooh. The dark square sat before him. Seven wiped the sweat from his forehead and crawled inside. Junpei waited for Seven to resume the story. The longer he waited, however, the clearer it became that Seven had no intention of doing so. He'd gone silent and simply stared off into the air, his eyes blank. So what happened after that? He waited long enough, but Seven shook his head. I don't remember what happens after that. I think I found some kind of door out of the duct. And I think I found some kids, too. Man, why can't I remember what happened next? I think one of the kids died. A girl, I think. Taking a sip. Huh? It was deep in his heart. Junpei felt something very cold. Seven's head dropped, and Junpei saw it on a look of sadness, the likes of which he had never seen on a man before. The large man's eyes blinked rapidly, as if he were fighting back tears. He swallowed hard. His sigh was like the melancholy setting of an old abandoned building. He shook his head and spoke. Anyways, just please don't ask any more, okay? I don't remember anything else. After that, Junpei could hardly try to force any answers out of the other man. There was nothing more he could do. Instead, Junpei turned his mind, trying to make sense of what Seven had told him. The children who had been kidnapped 9 years ago. Apparently, a company called Cradle Pharmaceutical had been behind the kidnappings and taken the children to the ship they were on now. They had been brought to the ship for an experiment. Something to do with controlling human beings, Seven had said. 16 children who had been kidnapped were subjects for the experiment. Seven had said three of their names were Aoi, Light, and Nona. That was the new information. He'd also learned that Seven was, or had been, a police officer. Still, there was little he could do with this new information. He'd learned nothing about the nonary game or Zero. He had no idea why they had been brought to the ship that had been the site of those experiments 9 years before. Junpei couldn't forget what Seven had said. The purpose of the experiment had been to control human beings. Could such an absurd experiment really been conducted? But before long, Junpei realized he had spent quite some time deep in thought. No time for that. He chided himself. He had work to do. Junpei shook his head quickly to clear it and returned to his investigation, thoughts swirling in his mind. Oh boy! Now to find out what this little piece does. Okay. Let's go over here. I think it has to do with something over here. When I touched the tiles on the door, I felt something weird. I can move these tiles. That means maybe if we swap the tiles... I suppose we need to figure out what the strange design on the tiles mean. Okay, hold on. Let's go into the item list and check this out again. It's just a small tile, nothing on it. Oh, 14! Notice the 3 lines here are actually on the top of other lines with the red lines. See the 14 on it. Or maybe if you flip it around the other way, you get the H1. Can I do that? H1. H1. There. H1. Okay. Apparently I'm missing pieces. Let's go over here and check this. Wait, what if I just stick the towel in there just cause? Whoop, whoop. Can we just not check the thing on? So I have to find more pieces, huh? I don't know where to find it. Okay, no, tile. Nope. Seems pretty pointless to bother examining it. There's nothing special about this toilet paper. I don't really think they need to bother shining any light on it. It's 4 and 7. Wait. Hold on a second. I saw the numbers 4 and 7. What does that have to do with anything, though? So if we go back to the item. It's 4. 14. Its digital root is 5. Wait, hold on a second. Why does this have a thing on it? Okay. Oh, what do I need to do now? Okay. Let's go here. Let's check this. Let's check the drain again. Okay, well I can't do that. Wait, what if I can't twist it. Okay. Wait a second. There was something stuck in here, right? What if I just like... Sounds like something falling. Was that... I heard it too. Let's open the drawer. Why? Wait, what? Another 14 panel? Wait, are you different? You look exactly the same. Wait, hold on. Maybe you aren't. This one? Let's combine them. Nope. Tile with the 3 colored lines on it. The red lines, don't they look like They form a 14? Yeah, okay. I already noticed that. Oops. Let's switch this. So... let's look over it here now. It doesn't open though. Towel. Wait, what about the sink again? Okay, I can't check the sink. Chair. Wait, what if I, can I check the light on there? No? Okay, well. Whoop, whoop. Alright. Now what the fuck do I do? What if I just check the mirror again? Okay, well, okay, that was a solved puzzle. Do I want help? Give me like just 10 minutes if I don't figure out something then. 'Cause I guess still gotta figure out the moon and the sun thing. There's a number there too, right? Number is probably how many times you're supposed to flush. I mean, oh yeah. So, probably made it so that someone would trigger it by accident. Seven times. One more. Did you hear something? Heard a loud flushing noise. Like that. The toilet's disgusting. You don't expect me to touch that thing, do you? Alright, then I'll do it. Okay. The toilet is vile, unsurprising. Okay, well... what about me? Why can't I do it? Looks like a toilet. Whoop, whoop. Why can't I check inside the toilet? Did set off on purpose. What the fuck did I do? Oh, I just have. Okay, well. 2, 3, and 4. Click. Yeah, there it is. The same thing happened to the other room means... don't know. I think it's a little suspicious that the other room gave us a hint to figure out this one. Room next door is just like this one, so that leaves the dark room. Boop, boop. 14 equals E. Oh, okay. More or less. These have an E. These have 14 on it. Wait, maybe... Shit, no. Pissed me off that I can see it, but I can't touch it. Wait, what? Why can't you touch it? Now I can pull on it. Okay, what? What? There's no flush. I feel like I wasted a bunch of time because I was determined to flush a toilet. No, there's nothing out of the ordinary about it. Well, this is 4E, just like the 14 on the tile. Yes, but what do I do with the toilet? Okay. What? Why? Why are you open now? Let's go over here, because there's 4 E's. Let's crack the mystery. We got 4 tiles and there's a bunch of E's on here. Stupid hexadecimal and nonary stuff. Ugh, God. You found it! They passed through the open door and headed to the next room. Junpei jogged down the short staircase and looked around. Oh geez, this looks like an electric chair? The hell is this place? The words had sprung unbidden to his lips, and it was unclear why. Junpei shivered. Lotus and Seven reached the bottom of the stairs and stopped short, terrified. We gotta get the hell out of here now. Shook the door on the wall next to the catwalk. Didn't open, he muttered to himself. Figures! It's locked, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know why I thought this one would be any different. He looked around the room again. The center of it was a chair. Does anyone know how close I am to the end right now? Because apparently that was the last puzzle. But I also want to get to Kirby tonight before it gets too late. Beyond the glass, Junpei couldn't tell. It was too dark. At the right of the room, there was a table covered with a piece of cloth. Parts of the cloth were stained with something that looked suspiciously like blood. On top of the table, metal instruments. Jeez. I have to escape this room and get to an end. Okay. I think I'm gonna call it quits here then, if I have to solve this room. Yeah, I'm gonna have to solve this room. I'm gonna call it quits here and then get started on Kirby, and I'll finish this ending to some other time. But yeah, this is gonna be the end of 999 for tonight, and then we're gonna get started on Kirby real soon. So I gotta remember how to save now. Start? Is the start button? Yeah, okay. Yes, overwrite. Yay! Yes. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick BRB to fix up some of the stuff on the information. Will the VODs of this be saved? Yes. There's 2 VODs up right now. You can go watch them and then catch up on what you missed. But I'm going to take a quick BRB, and I'll be back with Kirby. So hold on tight.